yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
Because you know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Your love of the game is still there. I can feel it from you, right? How did that love of the game fuel your career?
It was the basis of my career. My love of the game within my contract, which, you know, I'm pretty sure most contracts now, I'm actually positive now, don't have that clause within the contract where
you had a clause in your contract.
Love of the game contract, that if I was driving with you down the street and I see a basketball game on the side of the road, I can go play in that basketball game. And if I get hurt, my contract is still guaranteed. I love the game so much that I would never let someone take the opportunity for me to play the game away from me.
Why is ring culture so much more prevalent in the NBA than in other sports?
Yeah, it's funny, I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything.
Do you see the players of today's basketball with that mindset to achieve greatness?
It's hard to be hungry when you have. Simple as that. I mean, if you don't have, you are willing to do whatever you have. So my mental approach was go in, do my job, be the best basketball player I can be, and all the chips and everything outside of that, I had people that was handling that, you know. But basketball court, I'm handling it, right? And now it's like, it's a prerequisite. You know, everybody has to have a logo.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
LeBron James and KevinDurant sat on that podcast cracking jokes about Michael Jordan's legacy, laughing like nobody would check them. Big mistake. They really thought the whole basketball world was asleep, but the legends were watching every second and they finally snapped. What started as some laid-back talk on LeBron's Mind the Game podcast instantly twisted into something way heavier than either of them expected. Durant tried to paint Jordan's baseball break as a weakness compared to LeBron's long run in the league, basically hinting that Jordan walked away while LeBron stayed locked in. And LeBron laughed like it was all facts, while Steve Nash nodded along like he co-signed everything.
To have a long career, that's the goal, to be in the league for 20 years. I tell you, that's the goal.
Artis Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy because that's what basketball is all about.
Bird takes it away from Wilkins, goes to the floor and gets it up ahead.
If you're going to make $50, $60 million a year and just say, hey, you know what? I'm only going to play 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4. At some point, the fan going to be saying, wait a minute, you're charging me this much for tickets. Why in the world should I care if they don't care? A guy making 75, 80, 90, God forbid, $100 million a year to play basketball. Right. And the guy says, you know, I'm going to rest tonight. At some point, the fan's going to be saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, I've had enough. If this dude don't care about me, and that's the one thing concerns me going forward. Man, we're the luckiest dudes in the world to play basketball. We're the luckiest dudes in the world. If you look at sports landscape, nobody get paid better than basketball players. Nobody.
That's the moment they stepped into the danger zone because NBA legends didn't hold back for a second. Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, Shaq, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, even Jordan's old championship brothers jumped in and tore the whole argument apart. They didn't come with soft takes or polite disagreement. They came with fire and receipts. They broke down every hole in LeBron and KD's logic so cleanly that by the end, it felt like that podcast clip became the biggest mistake of both their careers. Then Grant dropped the line that lit the whole thing up again. He said, some people want to go play baseball and then come back, or some people go 22 straight. Everyone knew exactly what he meant. Jordan left, LeBron stayed, and KD tried to spin that as some kind of superior commitment.
LeBron and KD and Steve Nash did their little podcast thing, and they always drag the legacy of Michael Jordan.
What is it called? Was it Cry Me a River?
Cry Me a River. I think
Cry Me a River podcast? Oh, my God. I tell you what, man, listen. I was watching
Revisionist history, they should call it.
Yeah, you know what, Mark? Great players don't have to tell people they're great.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
that's true.
You let fans do that. You let people debate it on talk radio and podcasts. You know, players don't have to do that. You know, that we all know you're great. You don't have to tell us. You know, when you have to go around trumpeting that you're great and what separates you from all the other people that makes you greater than them, that's a problem. You know, that's a problem. That's why I say it's a Cry Me a River podcast, because you're crying and moaning about what they said. And they were kind of sneak dissing MJ. If you really listen between the lines, you know, they were talking about, KevinDurant was talking about how longevity is more important than rings and all that other stuff. Being in the league basically for 20 plus years shows the dedication and the hard work that you had to do to stay here. But he failed to mention, you know, the load management and this guy only playing in no more than 3 times in his career, you know, 82 games in a season.
Yeah, right.
LeBron's only played 1 time 82 games in a season. MJ 9 times in his career played 82 games, plus playoffs and championships that goes into 115 games. So to listen to these guys discredit the former players and how great they were to you know, basically step on top of them to get themselves higher is really sad.
But here's the part Durant conveniently skipped. MichaelJordan didn't walk away in 1993 because hoops got dull or the league wasn't tough enough. He stepped back because his father, James, was murdered that summer, shot during a robbery, and left on the side of the road. The same man who pushed Michael toward greatness, who believed in him before the world did, was suddenly gone. Jordan was at the absolute peak of his power. 3 straight championships, unstoppable energy. And he still walked away because he was grieving deeper than most people can imagine. He didn't quit the game. He was hurting, and he wanted to honor his father by chasing the dream they talked about for years, playing professional baseball. 3 titles in a row, something Magic never did, something Bird never did, something LeBron still hasn't done.
You know, the fans are there that watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck at the Palace in Auburn Hills to watch you when you came to Detroit?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me and I want to shut him up. So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
Jordan pulled that off while carrying unthinkable pain on his back. So Durant smirking about baseball while LeBron laughs? That's not a clever basketball point. That's mocking a man's grief over his murdered father. NBA legends saw that moment and decided they weren't biting their tongues anymore. Stacey King, who won 3 championships next to Jordan, knows exactly what true greatness looks like when you see it every night. His response came with 0 filters.
It might not be in the team's best interest, in your best interest, to play all 82. Is that something you've thought about at all since you made the goal?
Man, that's a goal, but yeah, we'll see.
I'm available to go and be in the pro. If OBJ shows up, he might score 100.
King even renamed LeBron's show the Crimea River Podcast and fired at both of them for what he called constant insecurity pretending to be confidence. He said, great players don't need to tell people they're great. You let fans say that. You let the debates happen naturally at talk shows and barbershops. But when you're always sitting on podcasts, comparing yourself to legends and listing reasons why you're different, that exposes something messy about how you really view yourself. And then King dropped the line nobody could argue with. Durant sat on that podcast preaching about longevity and commitment like he wrote the rule book. He talked about playing 20 years as the ultimate badge of loyalty. What he didn't mention, KevinDurant has only played all 82 games 3 times in his entire career. 3 full seasons across almost 2 decades of pro basketball.
What's happened to the rivalries in today's game? Like, I mean,
they don't hate each other.
That's
they don't like, see, I hated Larry and every Celtic. I really don't like you, but you my little brother. Now I love you because you out of that green and white. That's what it was, right? You the Celtics, Lakers hate each other, disliked each other. So it made for great TV and people tuning in. And now with, I don't know if it's AAU, I don't know what it is. Now everybody's shaking each other's hand. Everybody like each other, won't go at each other like really hard. Even that's what happened to the All-Star game, see?
Yeah.
See, the All-Star
carried into the All-Star game. Right there.
See, we hated the East.
Right.
I'm coming to bust you.
Right.
Michael, Isaiah, Dr. J. You can't have one over me. See, I'm coming to get that. Now,
see, Magic, this is what I
let
said.
them score 200 to 200. What is that?
And LeBron's numbers, even worse. He's completed a full 82-game run once in more than 20 years of playing. Yet these are the same two guys lecturing everybody about commitment while sitting out for rest, load managing through whole stretches, and choosing their bodies over the fans who paid to watch them suit up. King had one word for it: hypocrisy. And he didn't sugarcoat anything. Magic Johnson, usually the smoothest diplomat in the game, even he hit his limit after hearing that podcast mess. He spent years trying to bridge eras, highlight positives, and show respect. But this time, Magic had smoke ready. He broke down the real difference between eras with 1 point: intensity. When the Lakers faced the Celtics, the energy was raw.
Like you mentioned a little bit about today's game, because we had Club on here and he talked about load management. He said, I don't know what the hell that is. Where is it going? And that's number one. And number two, how do we get it back?
Even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management. It's hurting the game.
But you have to really play hard. Does that hurt you physically?
No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times.
You know, it's all about winning championships and winning.
This rest stuff just drives me crazy. You're playing basketball for a living, okay? I understand if you're working in a coal mine that you may need a rest day after it. You're playing basketball.
Magic despised Larry Bird during those battles, and Bird felt the exact same way. That edge pushed both of them to reach levels they wouldn't have touched without that rivalry. Fans sitting at home could feel the pressure through the screen. The whole country stopped to watch because every single possession carried emotion you couldn't fake. And now you look at today's league and see players shaking hands and handing out hugs before tip-off like it's a reunion. Best friends posting vacation pics all off-season, business partners launching projects together, podcast co-hosts joking around about the greatest player to ever touch the court.
Kevin's a great player. I think that his legacy is complicated. You know, I don't like any guys who join super teams. I'm biased against LeBron when it comes to comparing him to Michael, joining Dwayne and those guys. Because, you know, when we had this debate, and LeBron's amazing and spectacular, but I was like, Michael didn't join anybody. He just kept getting his ass kicked and got bigger and got stronger and finally knocked the wall down. And, you know, Kevin, who's a great player, you know, other than the fact when he's joined the Warriors, he hasn't been successful anywhere else. And I don't hold that against him, but he wants to be considered in that list. He's not on that list. He's not on that list. He's a great, great player, but he's not on that list. He wants to be like, wow, he's not in the GOAT conversation, because you're not, plain and simple.
Damn.
You had great success when you joined the Warriors, but not only did you not have success, you actually flamed out in those other places. You got swept last year in the playoffs. You didn't even make the play-in this year.
Where's the rivalry in that? Where's the edge that made fans lock in and actually care? Magic connected this whole shift straight to the ratings collapse the league keeps trying to explain away. Fans can feel when players don't truly care about winning anymore. They can tell when the competition has been swapped out for friendly vibes, and they're responding by tuning out, canceling league pass, and spending their nights doing literally anything other than watching basketball.
But do you think that's harder now for guys? There's social media and all this stuff, so they got to cut through the clutter here a bit, right?
Yeah, that's true. I like to think that if I was playing today,
right,
I like to think that no matter what, my game is going to validate whatever I try to participate in away from the game. It's really tough for the kids today, and most of them do a great job of navigating what you're talking about. That's, as long as you understand that this is always going to be what you're remembered for. Basketball and your love for basketball should always be pure. We would play this game, I've always said this, we would play this game for free. We did. And now we just so happen to get paid for it. Generationally, you know, I like to think that most of the time that people will remember Michael Jordan based on what he did on the basketball court, and not always the commercials that he did.
Why would anyone invest 3 hours into players who aren't even as locked in as the people watching them? That's the question Magic keeps trying to drill home. Durant and LeBron laughing together while throwing little jabs at Jordan is the perfect example of everything Magic warned about for years. This buddy-buddy culture has replaced real competitive fire, and the game is losing fans because of it. And then Charles Barkley jumped in, going even harder than everyone else. His frustration didn't come from one podcast episode. It came from watching something deeper growing inside the modern league. Barkley said today's players care more about protecting their personal brands than actually showing performance on the court. Prioritizing being liked instead of being feared, chasing business deals instead of chasing rings, Barkley said it straight up and nobody could deny it. If you're making $56 million a year and only showing up for 2 out of every 3 games, fans will eventually stop caring about you. Why should they put in their money and emotions when you won't put in real effort? Why should anyone drop hundreds on tickets when the star might decide that tonight is a rest night?
So I've heard players say, including myself, I feared Mike. I've heard players in your generation say they feared Kobe. I've never really heard any players say they fear LeBron.
And then like the generation, they talk so much shit about the game today. And it make you go back and watch the game back then. And it makes you not even want to appreciate it no more like I did when I was a kid. Like it was like.
Barkley laid out a bigger, harsher truth. NBA players earn more than athletes in any other sport. The average salary is around $10 million. Most teams have 5 to 7 players pulling $20 to $25 million every year. And that's for an 82-game season, not 162 like baseball. 3 or 4 games weekly instead of 6 or 7. Yet players still complain they need rest days. Barkley said Durant and LeBron are the perfect examples of this mentality. They act like just showing up counts as an achievement. They treat lasting 20 years while load managing and bouncing to new teams whenever real pressure hits as something more impressive than Jordan destroying the league across 13 full seasons. That whole mindset is upside down, and it's pushing fans away from a game they used to love with their whole hearts.
But you know, our game is supposed to be more structured. Well, this game we're watching now, I don't know what we're watching now.
They say, yeah, I said the 90s and 80s was way harder than this. You guys, this is like kind of soft.
Shaq's criticism came from a totally different lane, locked in on toughness and physicality. He didn't waste time with numbers or diplomacy. He went straight for the core of what he felt today's players are missing. Shaq broke down what real domination means, not just surviving out there. He said modern players avoid the paint because they don't want to feel real contact on their bodies. They'd rather launch contested step-back threes than fight for position down low and demand the ball like true enforcers. Analytics tricked a whole generation into believing the three-point line is the only path to efficiency. But Shaq knows something spreadsheets can't measure. Toughness wins when the lights get hot. Playoff basketball lives by different rules. When everything is on the line and elimination is breathing down your neck, toughness and heart decide who survives. The will to impose yourself on another grown player decides outcomes. And Jordan had that toughness in a level nobody's matched since. He took contact every single night and showed up the next game even hungrier. Injuries that would sideline modern players for weeks barely made him blink. Meanwhile, Durant is 7 feet tall but moves like a guard, drifting to the perimeter instead of bullying smaller defenders. And LeBron? He came in with once-in-a-lifetime physical gifts that should have made him the scariest defender of his generation, but he picks his spots, saves energy, and plays the game on his own terms? That's not championship DNA in Shaq's eyes. That's survival dressed up as longevity. Then Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce added another angle the other legends didn't touch: preparation and conditioning. They said modern players aren't built for full seasons because they don't train the old school way. Garnett flat out said today's guys think they're in shape until they meet someone who actually trained for real. Back in KG's era, practices ran every single day at game speed intensity. Full 5-on-5 scrimmages, real contact, real stakes. No shortcuts, no soft days, no excuses. Hours of real work used to build the conditioning needed to survive 82 games, plus deep playoff runs without your body falling apart. Today's players show up, hit a few individual drills with a personal trainer for 30 minutes, maybe an hour, moving at half speed, then expect to flip a switch and play at full intensity for 2 straight hours during real games, and they act shocked when their bodies break down. Garnett broke down exactly where it all starts. Your calf muscles are the foundation for every movement on a basketball court. But modern players skip basic calf raises, skip the boring conditioning that prevents injuries, skip the unglamorous stuff that actually keeps you healthy. Then they turn around needing load management programs because they're dealing with problems they created through straight-up neglect. The numbers blow the whole contradiction wide open. Durant talks about longevity while having only 3 full seasons in his career. LeBron talks about dedication while finishing exactly 1 complete season. Meanwhile, Jordan logged multiple full 82-game years, played huge minutes, and showed up every night because he respected the fans and the competition. The gap between what these players claim and what they actually do couldn't be more obvious. And the math alone crushes Durant and LeBron's whole argument before you even get into intangibles. Between them, LeBron and Durant have played 39 NBA seasons, nearly 3 times the length of Jordan's entire career. Almost 4 decades of combined basketball from 2 of the most gifted players ever. And that mountain of time produced just 6 championships, 5 regular season MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, 5 scoring titles, and 5 all-defensive selections combined. Jordan matched or surpassed all of that in only 13 seasons, and he did it while carrying the weight of an era. Jordan's resume tells a completely different story. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, 9 all-defensive first-team selections. 1/3 of the time produced more than double the results. That's not an opinion. That's straight arithmetic. Longevity doesn't equal greatness when you're doing less with more years than a man who dominated with fewer chances. And the irony of KevinDurant calling anybody a quitter would be funny if it didn't expose something deeper. After losing to the Warriors in the 2016 Western Conference Finals, Durant made a move many call the weakest decision in pro sports history. He joined the 73-win team that had just sent him home. A squad with Curry, Thompson, and Green didn't need him. He needed them because the pressure of leading a team to a title was too heavy for him alone. Brooklyn was supposed to be his reset button, his team, his moment to prove he could win as the true #1 option. But it fell apart fast, and he demanded a trade the second things got tough. Phoenix was another fresh start. Stacked teammates again, and after not even 3 full years, he wanted out again. And this is the same player mocking Jordan for stepping away while grieving his father right after winning 3 straight titles. LeBron's path follows the same blueprint, just wrapped in cleaner packaging. Cleveland got too heavy the first time, so teaming up with Wade and Bosh in Miami became the easier road. When Miami started slipping, returning to Cleveland made sense again. When Cleveland got uncomfortable after Kyrie left, Los Angeles became the next escape hatch. Every time the pressure rises, both of them find a softer landing spot and then try to clown a man who never ran from anything. Every time adversity hit, LeBron found the closest exit and walked straight through it. Neither he nor Durant has any real standing to sit on a podcast laughing about Jordan's choices when their own careers read like disappearing ink. Jordan lived by a philosophy neither of them ever embraced. Longevity meant nothing to him. Perfection meant everything. Every season, every game, every possession existed for one purpose: maximize himself and his team. Win titles, dominate both ends, leave every ounce of energy on the floor no matter what his body felt like. Jordan even said it himself. Burning out simply meant burning out. If his career ended early, he'd go play golf somewhere warm. He never once sat around worrying about year 20. Being the best filled his mind. Winning consumed his energy. Building a legacy rooted in domination, not durability, shaped every move he made. And that mentality is exactly why his legacy remains untouchable decades after he walked away from the court. When the league needed someone to fix the cultural problems strangling modern basketball, they didn't call LeBron, they called Jordan. His name still carries more weight than any active player, even after 20-plus years away from the game. He doesn't need podcasts to defend what he built. The championships defend it, the finals MVPs defend it, the 10 scoring titles defend it. The work stands there on its own, no explanations required. Durant tried some damage control on social media once the backlash got too loud. He said he'd talk about Jordan's retirements every day for the rest of his life and asked what anybody planned to do about it. But that response didn't land the way he hoped. Every time Durant brings up the topic, people fire back instantly. They remind him of the context he keeps ignoring. The murder, the grief, the 3 straight championships Jordan already secured before stepping away. And then they bring up Durant's own resume, the team hopping, the failures whenever Curry wasn't beside him, the burner accounts he used to protect himself in the shadows, and the load management programs he needs just to stay upright. Disrespecting real greatness always comes with consequences. It exposes the insecurities you're trying to hide. It shows you don't feel like you truly belong in the conversation you're trying to force your way into. When you can't elevate yourself through winning, the only option left is to tear down the one who sits above you. Jordan never disrespected the players who came before him. Kobe never questioned the legends who built the floor he stood on. They honored basketball history because they understood they were building on foundations someone else laid. They earned their legacies through winning, not through podcast clips questioning another man's choices. Every NBA legend who spoke out gave the same message with different words. History doesn't get rewritten by people who didn't write it, mocking the sacrifice and pain of the greatest player ever. All because you're insecure about where you rank doesn't do anything except show that insecurity to the entire world. Longevity doesn't equal greatness. Surviving isn't the same as thriving. And disrespecting the legends who created everything you benefit from guarantees you'll get exposed the moment they decide to fire back. Durant and LeBron thought they were being clever on that podcast. Just a few light jokes about baseball. It felt harmless in the moment until the entire basketball world let them know it wasn't. What Durant and LeBron really did was unite NBA legends against them like nothing we've seen before. Magic, Barkley, Shaq, Garnett, Pierce, King, all hitting the same message from different angles. Respect the history, respect the sacrifice, respect the game that made you rich and famous. True greatness doesn't need hype or persuasion. Championships speak loud, MVPs speak loud. Impact that still shakes the culture decades later speaks even louder. And everything in that podcast exposed one thing. Durant and LeBron know deep down they don't sit on Jordan's level. Changing the measuring stick feels easier to them than rising to the standard of measures. That's exactly what they tried with the whole longevity angle. But none of it worked. Greatness recognizes greatness, and everybody watching can see who really measures up and who falls short. No number of seasons will change that math. No podcast episode will rewrite that history. No load management strategy will erase that huge gap. If you think these legends check that disrespect the right way, smash that like button. If you're tired of modern players trying to twist what greatness actually means, drop a comment below. And if you want more straight-up truth about what's really happening in basketball, hit subscribe right now. This story isn't even close to over. We're just getting started.